Art is a very important part of human being. I mean, artistic expression is something we all have in common. After, more or less, you can use it or not. There are no real limits in musical development for a musician or a songwriter, composer. Even you can always improve. You don't have this physical limit that maybe dancers can have, or in sport. My father used to be a sportman, and it's true that at the moment there is a physical limit. And I remember once he said, it's difficult sport because at the moment you start to understand, you have to stop because your body is, there is a limit with your body. So with music you don't have this much. You can still progress all the time. So it's true, if I see my past, in my past I can see I progressed, Hopefully I'm gonna progress again. I mean, continue to experiment and to improve new things. Always with pleasure. That I remember about my childhood. I mean, especially about with the connection with music. And when I was a kid, there was all those wedding parties, or whatever, family parties, and everybody had to sing something to express, themselves. And I remember, I think I started to be on stage. I was 2 or 3. I mean, when already a child can sing. But it was just like, what was great is everybody had to do something. And it's true, this idea that everybody performs, I think influenced really much my approach, my love for music and performance in general. And I always this in mind. I don't know. For me, performance is something global. I mean, something collective. And it's always pleasure for me to be on stage and maybe to get this feeling back. I started really to play music when I was in Paris. In Paris, there are large different communities coming from Africa, North Africa and Black Africa. So it was part of my, let's say, musical education. I come from Brittany, so it's a Celtic area of France, so I got this influence in my music. And also, I traveled in Africa and Central America, so also, even since I was a teenager, this music took a part in my inspiration, So basically, this is the 3, let's say, sources makes my music. I like to be concentrated when I perform, when I play music. I think I'm able to really forget about everything. And after that, something is coming just naturally. I don't know, with the time. I mean, it's very fluid. I'm lucky with this. I never had problems, with inspiration, like, the white page. I just let things coming. And it comes naturally. From where I won't be able to tell you really. It's always difficult to talk about what the fan think, finally. What is true is, after a spectacle or performance, when somebody comes to you, you see immediately, You know, if they like it, if they come, sometimes, you know, okay, some people come, say, yeah, it was nice, oh, that was nice. But it's true that it's obvious that when somebody comes in a special way, saying, oh, I really enjoy the performance, it's immediately visible, you can touch it.
Simeon's music is different than any other kind of music you'll hear. It's his own language in many of the songs. I think everybody knows that. But there's a little bit of Portuguese, a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of English. Every once in a while, if you're lucky, some Polish. Afrikaan is in there. So it's definitely different. When you meet him, you feel like this is like somebody you've never met before. He goes off into his own little world. He's, the hair to me is all part of his character, for sure.
How would I describe his music? It's kind of like jazzy pop, but it's very rockish. It doesn't really fit into a specific category. Some people have suggested they called it world music. It's fun. It's good. It's danceable. It's I don't know, jazzy pop. A lot of improv. Just fun. His music is very exciting. I think one of the things that makes it that way is the fact that he's toured every continent, and his influences are really from all over.
When you hear an introduction of his songs, you know it's Simeon for every song. So he does have that genre of Latino kind of pop rock. I really world folk. I wouldn't really know how to put it into one category. But his style is a very unique blend of fusion and different African, Colombian, Latino influences. I haven't heard anything else like it. He has a way of building up the lyrics and the melody and driving to a very unpredictable but explosive refrain, and everything just really unpredictably beautiful. That was one thing that really struck me about his music. Nothing predictable at all, but still gorgeous. La, da, 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 da. La, da, 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 da.
First impression was of a great singer, somebody who was able to lift a bar and maintain their attention, break up conversations, and bring the whole focus onto him and his music. What I like most about his music is the way that it draws you in and maintains your focus on it and uplifts. It uplifts. It's transcendental. You're plucked away from your problems. You're plucked away from things you might have been worrying about that day. There's two letters really, T and M. It's described the music for me, because it's impossible to be sad. It's impossible to be too serious when you're listening to the music, and it connects with everybody. It allows people to forget about their troubles and get into the music, and that's the most important thing for those couple of hours that he's there. Transcendental meditation.
He also plays a number of different instruments. He's great at the guitar, he's great at drums. He also plays a piano, finger cymbals, you name it, he can play it. And I like that about him. You just throw something in his hand, you walk in a music store with him, and you just let him go.
So, yes, I used to create here in Krakow a band which is called World Trans System. And it's a band inspired, really, it's made on sense of improvisation in music. Basically, we improvise a lot, and we have, all of us, we used to live in different parts of the world. So it's true that we can experiment different things, you know, with music, and also especially improvised music.
We all just had some kind of special connection, I think. You know, I mean, that's what people say. You know, because we never played the same song. We never played the song, you know, twice in a row the same way. And you know, and some of our songs would go on for 15 minutes, just improvising and taking turns doing solos. And I think people really liked us for that versatility.
I've seen Casey playing the first time in a band, and he's, you know, this guy is a strong man. What amazed me is when I saw him playing on his keyboard, it was so delicate, you know, so light. And immediately, you know, I was seduced by his sense of music, his touch, you know. We had a few elements performing with us, and but pretty quickly a friend of Casey came, Christoph Bodden, the fantastic upright bass player. Used to be in California, and now back to Poland. And this guy got great sounds of music. I mean, he likes to be on stage. I mean, it's like, I think we share this, you know, he likes to be on stage every day, as much as possible. I love that.
I'm quite fond of the early concerts we had, where we didn't have a following, and we would just go into a club, and they would have to close down the club because they would get packed. They'd have to lock the doors sometimes, you know, especially the smaller pubs. Some of my other favorite memories would have been we got to play some very big stages opening up for touring acts, and we ended up, you know, getting more of a reaction than the headliner would get.
We had really the opportunity to play a lot. At the moment, we used to perform almost every day during the month, almost in the same area. That was great for me. That to be able, you know, to perform every day, daily. It's this is really the lux for performance.
Something that developed over time. We have pretty much been inseparable when, you know, since when we first met. Well, when I heard Simeon singing at the Irish Arms for the first time, I was outside in the beer garden having a smoke with the guys, and I remember he was singing In Extremis, and we all just came running inside because we hadn't heard someone like this at a singer-songwriter night before. We didn't have guys like that. We were trying to promote, you know, the local singer-songwriters to come out and, you know, build up their skills. And this guy was obviously someone who was definitely an established singer-songwriter. And we got to be friends. And we talked, and I told him I loved his music and I'd like to play with him. And then we at the end of the night, we played a set of his music, and I improvised with him, and just kind of clicked. Just kind of the puzzle pieces just kind of fit together like no one else I had played with before. He's probably the only friend I've got who is brutally honest with things about music, in positive and negative, but he's also not shy about showing his affection. And I think in the 21st century, when a grown man can tell another man that he loves him, and you know, and we stay in touch, and we're always talking, and every aspect of our life is usually spoken about either on Facebook or on text, and yeah, he's my best friend, and I think I'm lucky to know a person like him. That's why I love him, and I always will, unless he hooks up with my wife, and then I won't like him too much, but he'll still be a friend.
I'm gonna play here tonight. You know what? I forgot something. Ladies and gentlemen, Panie Panowiem, meine Damen und Herren, tonight at Dotic Club, fantastico, fantastica! Que viva la música, señores y señoritas, vamos!
Let's make love under the rain, together all night long. Let's make love under the rain, together all night long.
For a couple of years, he was playing everywhere. I used to joke he was, the hardest working musician in Krakow, because you could pretty much see him like 3-4 nights a week at different places. And I've always liked to go to his shows. Like his music is different enough that you can see him a couple of times a week and not really hear the same songs twice. And, have just enjoy the atmosphere.
Best concert I've ever been to was in Dotic, where Simeon played a great gig. Everybody in the house was dancing, having great fun. It was joyful, transcendental, and he was full of surprises, songs I'd never heard before, new songs, variations on old songs. It was just a tour de force of invention and fun and conviviality, and it was one of the best nights ever.
My favorite concerts that I've experienced for Simeon have been right here in his flat. A lot of times we'll come back after he gets done playing someplace, or even dropping over on a Thursday afternoon. I always have at least one, if not two, guitars, and I'll throw one into his hand and say, show me how you play this, and then just to get him going on the guitar. And then he goes into something that's new that I want you to listen to this one, and it's just fabulous. So here for sure have been some of my favorite concerts.
Let's make love under the rain, together all night long. Let's make love under the rain, together
traveling is nice. Being on stage is even better. I like to perform. I love my job. I love music. So I think the best thing for me is to be ready to go on stage and to sing like a bird.
Whoa, life. Oh, this is life. Whoa, whoa, life. Giving us to the